state and spell your name for the record.
Thank you, sir. If you'll take just a moment to get situated,
Cheers.
especially be care of the rolly chair next to the ledge there. And if you'll scoot up to the microphone, pull it down so we can hear you, and then state and spell your name for the record, sir.
My name is Alton, middle initial B, Calhoun, A-L-T-O-N. Again, B, C-A-L-H-O-U-N.
And what county do you live in now, sir?
I live in Upson County.
And did you ever work for the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, sir, I did.
When were you hired there?
I was hired by the Atlanta Police Department in April, I believe, of 1986.
And tell the jury what happens when you get hired by the Atlanta Police Department. What procedures do you take?
Once you're hired by the Atlanta Police Department, of course, you go through a whole series of background investigations and things before you're hired. And in my case, after they went through the backgrounds, I was hired as a police officer. I was what we would call a recruit in the city of Atlanta, meaning I had no sworn capabilities, but I worked in the city of Atlanta as a police recruit up until the time I went into the police academy.
And when you go to the police academy, do you receive training in that?
Yes.
And what kind of training do you receive?
No, the training is similar. The best I can put it in perspective, if you've ever been in the military and went to boot camp, a lot of physical training. You learn about particular things that's related to the police department training with respect to police and laws, criminal laws, and things of that nature.
And I assume you passed the academy?
Yes, sir, I did.
And after you get through the academy, what happens next?
After I graduated from the academy, as with the case with everyone, you'll spend a certain amount of time in what they call field training, where you're riding with seasoned veteran officers, getting to learn the ropes, so to speak, as a police officer. And after that field training, then you will probably be assigned to your new job duty as a patrol officer. In Atlanta's case, a particular precinct. I went to Zone 3 precinct.
Zone 3?
Yes.
What general area is that?
Zone 3 precinct is that part of west Atlanta, southeast Atlanta, all the way down through Cleveland Avenue, starts up near I-20 and Murphy Avenue, and in that area. It goes all the way over to the city of Atlanta, DeKalb County limits.
Are you familiar with the term post-certified?
Yes, sir, I am.
Could you please tell the jury what that means?
Post-certified is police officers' standards. It's required of all police officers in the state of Georgia to be post-certified. It's a set of standards that they've established, and they set those standards, and it includes training and yearly certifications.
So you have to do, in order to maintain a post-certification, you have to do updated training?
Yes, we're required to do updated training with respect to new laws that are coming in, new procedures, and very sorted things, but we're required to do that in order to keep our post-certification.
And what happens if you don't stay post-certified? Can you be a police officer?
No, you can no longer be a police officer if you're not post-certified or be able to perform police duties.
You said you were in the uniform division. Is that typical how people start out?
Yes, you're going to start out in the uniform division.
How long were you in the uniform division?
I was in the uniform division for 8 years.
And then after you were there, what did you do next?
After my 8 years in uniform division, I was assigned directly to the homicide unit. I believe it was 1994.
And that was 1994?
Yes.
And what sort of things, do you get any training when you get into homicide?
No, you get that assignment, and then all the training comes after you get that particular assignment.
What sort of trainings have you taken for being a homicide detective?
Well, I'll tell you, start at the very basic training. When you go to in my case, as it was, as every investigator in the police department in Atlanta, when you go to homicide, you don't automatically go and start working homicides. You're going to ride along with seasoned homicide investigators and doing a myriad of things from crime scene canvassing and things of that nature. And then eventually at some point when you spend a certain amount of time there, it's things that you get to have an understanding of what's going on. You'll be put in what we call in Atlanta the rotation to work homicides.
What does that mean?
To be in rotation means that, it's a term that we use, is everyone, it's like imagine a wheel. If you're up in the rotation, that means you're the next person that will get that very next call for a homicide or a death investigation. And once you get that, you'll go down to the bottom of the wheel and you'll just wait your next turn into rotation. And there are investigators between you.
And is that how you, that's the assignment of the lead detective, is that correct?
What is the
wheel, when you hit the rotation?
Yes, you are. Yes, and essentially, when you're in the rotation, when that call comes up for homicide, death investigation, or whatever, you will be the lead investigator, meaning you have the responsibilities for this particular case. And
could you tell the jury what being a lead is, kind of what entails being a lead?
It entails you're going to manage that case. That case is yours. Now, you're going to manage everything from that case, from, what happens with the evidence, were you able to discover any witnesses, who are those, what did you tell? You're directing. I'll give the average things. When you roll up on a homicide as the lead, I don't necessarily focus on one thing. I'm focusing and directing investigators. Someone will say something, well, can you take care of this witness? Can you do this? We got statements. Can you take those guys back to the office for statements? You're directing that particular homicide investigation.
Detective, how long were you in homicide?
20 years till I retired.
Okay. And did you get any experience working specifically with cold cases?
Yes. I spent 5 years as a cold case investigator. I actually was assigned to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. They had a cold case unit, and I worked that with another investigator from the Atlanta Police Departments and other investigators from different agencies within the Fulton County.
Detective Calhoun, could you estimate during your career, how many homicides were you the lead on?
It seems crazy. I know more than 100, well more than 100, 150. You're talking about a 20-year career. I can remember there were some times where, we had years where an investigator may get 10 or more homicides as the lead. And that's what that's based on. I've never kept a tablet and counted all of the particular homicides that I had as a lead.
It's just a lot.
It's a lot, yes.
Okay. And you say that you are retired now?
Yes, sir.
When did you retire?
I retired in 2014.
And you retired straight from homicide?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you haven't done police work since then?
No, sir.
All right, so you're not post-certified anymore?
I'm not post-certified as a police officer. I do have some certifications, but not as a police officer.
Okay. Draw your attention to 1999, a human head was found on Avon Avenue. Did you get involved in that case?
I didn't get involved in that case in 1999, no, sir. While I was aware of it, I did not get involved in it in 1999.
Did you know where, or let me try that again. Do you know who first was assigned the case?
It was Detective Dale Kelly.
And did you do any work on it back then?
I did not do any work on that case at that time, no, sir.
Did you know the details of the case?
I know the details of the case in that there was a head found on Avon Avenue, and I was familiar with the area, but I did not know all the specifics as it related to the case. I know they were, trying to identify who the remains went to.
And do you know when the head was discovered?
I believe it was April of 1999.
Okay. Were there any other body parts discovered in that area?
Yes, and that's what makes it easy to remember about that. The head was discovered in April of 1999, and a few months later, I believe in June, we discovered some more body parts, actually a short walking distance from where the head was found.
When you say short walking distance, how far do you mean?
As I think in my mind, if I'm standing right there at Avon and Hartford Avenue, and these were all areas inside zones 3, so I may say names just because I know the area. It's just standing right there at that corner, Avon and Hartford, and maybe walk 10 yards to Hartford. I maybe walk another 20 yards down Hartford Avenue, and then just turn right there into the wooded area and go into the wooded area another 10 yards. So no more than 50 yards at the most.
Is there a business located at Avon in Hartford?
Yes, there's several businesses located over there.
Do you know any of the names of any of them?
I know of one particular big business, Action Glass.
Okay, where's that located?
That's located right there at, like I said, right there at Avon and Hartford Avenue. Actually, located right where the remains were found, right across the street. Exactly.
But you originally did not have anything directly to do with this case originally?
That is correct. I didn't have anything to do with it at that point. As talk in the office, you hear people talking about it, you see things on the media, but I did not have any direct involvement with it at that time.
Obviously, you ended up having some direct involvement. When did that happen?
In 2003, I was up in rotation.
So you were the luck of the draw?
Yes, sir.
And what did you find out?
In 2003, we learned that the head that was found in April and the remains the dismembered parts that were found in June were identified through the medical examiner's office.
We have to be careful about hearsay. When he says he learned, that means someone else told him something.
Sustained in terms of the phrasing of the question, but you can rephrase.
Thank you. You were assigned, how did you find out about this case?
Well, again, we got a call from the medical examiner's office telling us that the remains that were found a few months earlier had been identified, and we had to meet with them and discuss this.
Okay. Who all did you meet with?
I believe it was Dr. Terry with the medical examiner's office and several other people. I don't recall who all it was.
After that meeting, what did you begin doing?
After that, now we know who these remains belong to, so this is a homicide investigation, and so we started from there, as we would do with all homicides, just trying to gather information on it. Now that we know who this person is.
And is there like a database or something like that where you can put in information and see if any other department has information about cases?
Yes.
And did you do that in this case?
Well, I did not do that in this case, but again, I didn't have to do this because it was at that meeting that we discovered some other things.
Were there any other departments involved in that meeting besides, police departments?
Yes, sir, there were.
Who was there?
The detectives from the Henry County Police Department.
Do you know which detective was the lead on that?
Detective Stott.
Detective Stott. And did you have a conversation with him about the case?
Yes.
Why was that important to you?
That was important because now we know, again, we know who this person is. This person has been identified. And in speaking with Detective Stott, I learned that.
Objection.
Y'all come here, please.
Do-do-do. She said, y'all come here, please, immediately. Also, big shout out. I missed it when I was going away for the refill during all that foundation background information. Thank you, Ali B. And thank you again for covering this case. My pleasure. Didn't expect it would be this crazy, but here we are. And your amazing commentary and chat. Thank you. And yes, love, love, love the chat. They are the greatest.
Mr. Wilson, if you want to, you can rephrase or move on.
Yes.
Yes. Did you know what Detective Stott's involvement was, or did you know who he was?
I know that, again, he was an investigator in the Henry County Police Department, and I know that he was assigned a missing persons case.
Okay. And did you review his file?
No, I just spoke with him about the case file. I did not sit down and go through the file with him.
When you went, well, beginning your investigation, what was the first thing you did?
It was important that because we didn't know what was going on. We knew that there was a missing person report. I work with the answers surrounding the missing person case, and then we went from there.
Did you ever talk to, at this point, did you talk to the defendant?
Yes, at some point we did. Well, not at that point, but we eventually did.
All right, let me ask you, and who is the person that you talked to that day?
You mean when we learned, make sure we're clear, when I learned who the missing person was?
Yes.
Oh, after I spoke with Detective Stott, you're asking?
Yes.
I learned from Detective Stott information.
Objection.
Well, who did you talk to? Do you know the name of the person you talked to?
Yes, I talked to Christopher Wolfenbarger.
Thank you. And is Christopher Wolfenbarger in this courtroom?
Yes, sir.
And could you please point him out and identify him by an article of clothing that he's
We
wearing?
stipulate he can identify him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Raise his eyebrows.
And when you talk to Mr. Wolfenbarger, did he give you any relevant information?
Yes, he did.
And what did he tell you?
He just gave us some information as to his relationship with this missing person, the person that we identified in this homicide investigation, and the relationship and some background information with respect to how long he had known her, what was their relationship, when was the last time he saw her.
And did he give you any explanation why he had not talked to his wife?
No, it was just one of those things of, he thought that she had moved on with her life. He gave us a time frame when he last saw her, but thought that she had just moved on with her life, and that was just the gist of it.
Did anything in this conversation, did you find anything unusual about this conversation? Did he say anything unusual to you?
Well, again, in speaking with Mr. Wolfenbarger, the one thing that I found unusual, he's telling us about, Melissa's his wife, when's the last time he saw her, and he said he saw her about last of March, April, somewhere in that time frame of 1999.
Okay. And why is that unusual?
It was unusual to me because Mr. Wolfenbarger was actually, talking about the time frame when we know the remains were found, so he could not have seen her then.
Did you ask him about any other men that she may have had in her life?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find out?
And again, in
Right.
keeping with what he's telling us about their relationship and moving on, that he knew that she had been seeing someone else and actually identified this person as someone that he knew to be Mike. They worked together.
When you say they work together, who do you mean?
He's speaking about Melissa and Mike.
Okay. And where did you find out she worked?
I learned that she worked at the Waffle House in Doraville.
Did you ask him where he thought she might be?
Just back and forth between there, no real definitive answer as to where she was laying her head or anything.
What did you do next?
With respect to that interview at that time,
Yes.
I mean, I think if remember serving right, I think when we ended that interview, he did tell me when's the last time he did mention seeing her walking down in the area where they used to live at on near Brookline and Murphy Avenue in that area. They went to lunch. He described what she looked like, and she was looking kind of rough, and he just they went to Taco Bell, ate, and he put her out near the MARTA station, and they parted ways, never to see her again.
Did he give you a time frame for that conversation?
No, I don't recall him giving me a time frame.
Did he mention anything unusual about her appearance other than the fact she looked rough?
I think it was just, yes, she just looked rough. I would imagine, and what I took from that, if that's okay, was that maybe she was just out there on the streets, walking up and down the streets with no real place to go and maybe no home.
What did you do next in your investigation after speaking with them?
Okay, now that I know my victim, is at that point where I'm starting to reach out to family members and talk to them about Melissa. We had to make contact with Miss Norma Patton.
Did you go to the scene?
Yes.
When did you do that?
I believe I went to the scene shortly after I talked to Mr. Wolfenbarger. And I'll back up and say this. I mean, albeit it was several years afterward, you go to the scene and you just start what you do at any homicide investigation, canvassing the area.
And were you able to let me ask you this. Were you familiar with the way the scene would have looked in 1999?
And I'm not sure if I'm understanding you.
Were you familiar with that area?
Yes, again, that was part of Zone 3, so I was very familiar with it.
And in 2003, had it changed very much?
No, sir.
Okay. When you went out to the scene, what did you do at the scene?
Well, and again, I'm starting at day one as if this was a fresh homicide. I started knocking on doors, talking to people.
Okay. And did you visit the Action Glass Company?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn from that visit?
Yes, and I'll start again. It says when I went to the scene, which in the scene I'll be more clear is where they actually lived at on Brookline and where the remains were found. They were close proximity, so I did go to both of those. I'll say that as the scene.
Well, now, how far is Brookline from from Action Glass and where the head was found?
I'd say by foot, no more than a 10-minute walk, maybe.
Okay. So you spoke with someone at Action Glass?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you talk to?
I talked to Mr. Brock. He was the business owner, Action Glass. In an investigation, learned that this is where Chris worked at. It was also right across the street from where the remains were found.
And did he give you, or did he tell you anything that was relevant to the case?
He gave us information about Chris's working relationship, and he also gave us information that he,
Objection if it's going to be hearsay, Your Honor.
no.
Well, Mr. Brock's already testified, so I don't think it's offered for the truth of the matter asserted. It's just offered for his investigative purpose.
Y'all come here for a second.
You're approaching. I mean, I'm not really sure someone testifying makes something not hearsay. Because really, that person isn't supposed to testify to what they said either, so why would it suddenly... But if it's to move forward his investigative steps, they might get this one. The state might win this one. He's just waiting patiently. Yeah, Cheryl, that's the big question, right? So is he going to dump Melissa's remains across the street from where he works? He's got to be a real idiot to do something like that. Criminals can be big idiots. But yeah. Still super, super, super dumb. Do you guys remember when the other witness was like, can we fast forward? You want me to fast forward? And if you guys missed it, on day 2, that was Friday, Brock, the Action Glass owner, and his wife both testified, if you're interested in that testimony. Chibi says, I bet the prosecutors were better at questioning in his day. Factual, I think the time frame of him working there, I could be wrong, but October to February-ish. February 11th, 1999 is what Brock said according to his documents. So October of 1997 until February of 1998, but he had to correct that to 1999. So, presumably, it was October 1998 until February of 1999. But he had the dates wrong when he was testifying.
Okay, the objection is sustained. You're going to, Mr. Wilson, if you'll please rephrase your question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is he stuck again?
So you learned relevant information from Mr. Brock, correct?
Yes.
Did you also talk to anyone else there?
I believe there was a lady that was present there as well.
Okay. Now, you said you had canvassed over at Brookline.
Yes.
Did you find relevant information over there?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you talk to over there?
I talked to several individuals, just going door to door, knocking and talking to whoever came to the door. I can recall speaking with a young lady that I identified as Dorothy Jones. She was able to give me some information about, I spoke to her about the homicide, and wanted to know what, if anything, she knew about the individuals and that this thing happened to.
Now, did you write a report on this?
Yes.
And is there a narrative?
Yes.
Is that how detectives do reports? Okay. May I approach witness, Your Honor? Thank you. Can you, now, is it possible that Ms. Jones is Ms. Cooley as well?
That is correct. Yes.
And you notated that in your report?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Who did you talk to next?
After Miss Jones Cooley, I spoke with her brother. It's my understanding he was more Chris's age,
Your Honor.
so.
Yes, sir.
It's not a witness.
Could you just tell me the people who you talked to at the scene?
Okay, I'm sorry. I spoke with Mr. Hunter. There was another gentleman.
Go ahead, sir.
There was another gentleman down the street, an older gentleman that I spoke to, Mr. Hoshaw, and I believe another individual, Don Perone.
Do you recall what date that was?
I don't recall. If I can look at my notes, I can give you the exact date.
Would looking at your narrative help refresh
Yes.
your recollection?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall what day you went out in the neighborhood canvas?
That would have been March 14th, 2003.
And that's the same day you went to the scene as well?
That's correct.
Okay. After you finished in that area, what did you do next?
You mean after the neighborhood canvas and going over to
Yes, sir.
the action glass?
Yes.
I think at that point, I started just speaking with the individuals that I know to be involved in the case. I know at one point I went to speak with Miss Norma Patton.
Who's Norma Patton?
Norma Patton is Melissa Wolfenbarger's mother.
And do you recall when you spoke with her? First.
The first time, it would have only been a couple of days after that March 14th incident. I can again look at my.
Could you refresh your recollection by using your narrative?
It would have been on March 19th.
Okay. Did you talk to a person by the name of Mike Dixon in
Yes.
this investigation?
Yes.
And do you recall when you spoke with him?
Not the exact date.
Well, can you look at your report and see if that refreshes your recollection?
44.
Or, well, no.
Yeah.
not 44.
Yeah.
11, try 11.
12, 11, 12, 12.
12, try 12.
Okay, according to as I look at the notes that I wrote on April 15th of 2003, I started talking about Thomas Mike Dixon, where I was able to go out and speak with him.
Now, to continue investigating this case, what did you do next? What steps did you take?
At that point, we know who our victim is. We've identified it. We're now looking for any evidence that's related to that we believe can be useful in this crime. And I think at some point we started looking for evidence evidence from the medical examiner's office to take it to the GBI to be processed.
What kind of evidence did you find?
There was, when the body was initially discovered back in 1999, there was some hair and fiber evidence, I'd say fiber evidence, paint chips and things of that nature that were on the remains.
So did you, knowing what you knew at that point, what did you try to do with this and using that information?
We took that evidence and took it to the crime lab to see what, if anything, they can do. We did things as hair comparisons. We tried to determine what these paint chips were, where they may have came from.
So where did you look elsewhere?
We also looked at the home. Again, we're talking about the homicide, so we know that they lived at 824 Brookline Avenue. We also processed the crime scene as well. Well, what we believe could be the possible crime scene.
Okay. And that would have been on Avon Avenue.
Avon Avenue would have been the crime scene where the remains were found in
Right.
1999. But I'm also talking about the house that Melissa and Chris were last known to live in as well.
So you try to get paint samples from there?
Yes.
Now, had Chris lived in that house recently?
No, sir.
Okay. And when did you go out? Where did you go out there to try to collect the paint samples?
May I look at my notes again?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you the exact date. Would it be all right if I look at these notes? Because I highlighted things, same thing, but in my notebook, would it be okay?
Are you referring to your own personal file?
Yes.
Is it okay if he looks at his personal file to get the dates?
Of course. Do we have copies of what's in this?
No, this is just something that I made. I won't look at
But
it.
that's a
No.
copy of this, right?
Yes, well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. According to my notes, as I look at it, and on the supplement, that would have been in July of 2003 when I processed the crime scene, what I believe the home where Melissa and my husband lived at.
Processing the crime scene, what did that entail?
That is, a term that we use when we say processing the crime scene. You just start in and you just go through, you take overall pictures of how you found the scene and you just start looking. In this instance, it details, well, what do we know about the case? This body was cut up and dismembered. If it happened, where would it likely happen? And so that's a lot of times will be our focus, even though we'll take pictures and go through the entire crime scene. In this instance, we focused on two main areas: a bathroom That was in the home and in the basement.
And what were you looking for?
We were looking for, again, we knew that there were some debris found on Melissa's remains, so we went through the house to try to determine if we could figure out where that may have came from.
And were you able to figure out whether or not it came from the house?
We were not able to determine that, and yes, we weren't able to determine.
Are you familiar with a substance called luminol?
Yes.
What does that do?
Luminol is a chemical that's used in processing the crime scenes where it's sprayed on certain things and it'll essentially light up, and that can give us the indication that this may be the presence of some type of matter. Something causes it to light up, so we'll take samples of that where it illuminated. We'll have it tested. Is it blood? Is it, what is this particular thing that caused this to luminesce as it did?
And you did that in 2003?
That is correct.
And was that successful?
No, that wasn't successful. That didn't, we didn't find anything with that. Luminol will react to certain things, and it's been known to react to things such as cleaning agents. It'll get it right, and so you have to take, again, you take that sample and try to determine what it is. It was nothing that we could use in this investigation.
Did you recover anything that you would need a DNA samples from the defendant?
Did I recover any?
Or did the department?
Yes, we were able to recover hair samples. Again, we pulled these. We got the remains, if that's been said, were found in bags, and we recovered these bags, and we went through the bags. We did all sorts of testing on those, and we were able to find some hair samples.
And were they compared?
Yes, we were.
Well, let me ask you this first. In order to compare hair samples, what do you need?
You need a known hair samples from the individuals. In this case, we needed hair samples from Melissa to determine if they were her hair samples. And at this time, our suspect in that case was Christopher Wolfenbarger.
And how do you get those hair samples?
We already had Melissa's because this was found at the medical examiner's office, but I have to obtain a search warrant to get Chris's samples.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And excuse me just for a moment.
Sure.
Did he cooperate with providing samples?
I don't want to smile, but it's a definition of cooperate. I would say no, but I have to tell you why.
Okay.
Again, we needed to get some hair samples. We found hair samples on these remains, so we needed to get these tested. They needed Melissa's, and then we also needed those of our suspects. Well, I went and got a search warrant to get the hair samples from Christopher Wolfenbarger. It was assumed they're not going to give them up, but he didn't cooperate when I went to get them. I mean, he had no choice with respect to the search warrant. He had to give me, it was ordered that he give me these samples. So that's not cooperating.
How many times did you speak to the defendant about this case?
I spoke to Chris at least face-to-face on at least 3 different occasions where we met and discussed this case, or where I was serving a search warrant to get hair samples or DNA from him.
And I didn't ask, when you got the samples, did you turn those in to be analyzed?
Yes, and back up, these samples that we had from the medical examiner's office, we decided to do some more advanced testing. We sent those to the FBI crime lab in Quantico, and one of the stipulations were we needed other samples from Chris, and that's when we went and got his hair samples. But yes, they were all sent to the GBI crime. They were initially sent to GBI, but then we sent further samples to the FBI.
And were you able to make any matches based on those samples?
We were not able to make any matches.
Did you ever talk to the defendant about about Melissa's relationship with Carl Patton, her father?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you the relationship was like?
Chris suggested to me that the relationship was, it was good. Melissa was not afraid of her father. She had no reason to be afraid of her father. And if I can just back up a little bit and give my reasons for asking him that.
Sure.
I was familiar with Carl Patton, and one of the things was, well, would she have any reason to do this? Would Carl have done this thing to her? And his comment to me was she had no reason to be afraid of her father. Suggesting to me their relationship was good. Overall, family-wise, it wasn't the greatest, but their relationship was good, and he would have had no reason to do anything to her.
Okay. When you talked to Carl Patton, was he emotional?
Yes.
I just have one more.
Sure.
When did you speak to Carl Patton?
Oh, it would have been shortly after I visited Miss Patton. I spoke to Carl Patton.
And where did you speak to him?
I spoke to him at the Henry County Jail.
He was in custody at the time?
That is correct.
Speak to Diane Patton or Diane Parrott in
Yes.
regards to this case.
Yes.
Do you remember when you talked to her?
It would have been in 2003, maybe, again, all of these people were spoken to right in about the same time frame, within a couple of days of each other, I believe. I could look at my notes and give you the exact date.
Could you please?
And so according to my notes, it would have been in
Objection,
March.
Your Honor. We've got confrontation, we've got hearsay, we don't have 807. So
Your Honor, I'm just asking these questions.
That's what I understood that he was asking is who did he speak to or did he speak to that person?
Yes.
he's looking at his notes just to see, did he speak to her? Okay.
Just the date.
Well, I asked the date, so he's
Right.
looking to find the date.
Specific date because he gave you a general idea.
Yes.
Overruled.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
When did you retire?
I retired in 2014.
And with this case,
Was out of there.
did you continue to work on this case until you retired?
Yes, as I said earlier in the beginning, that I was while I had this case and got this case in 2003, I was assigned to the cold case unit at this particular office, and but that I brought this case over here with me, and I continued to work it until I retired.
And do you know who inherited the case after you were done?
It's my understanding, Detective Shepard.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Samuel?
Detective Calhoun, my name is Don Samuel. I don't think we've ever met
Don.
before.
We have, sir.
Yes, we have?
We have.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. So, I just want to do a quick chronology, okay? 1999, April, the skull is found in the road, correct?
That is correct, sir.
June of 99, there are other parts of the body found, different places, different bags in the woods.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Originally, according to your reports, the belief of either the medical examiner was that it was a male skull, correct?
Yes, that was, from what I understand, well, I know to be a truth, there was initial assumption that this head belonged to a male.
Right, just the expert just got it wrong, right, at the crime lab?
No,
Or the medical examiner's office?
I don't know what they used to determine that, but I know from the time they found the remains till up until in the initial part of the investigation, when it was Dale Kelly's, they determined that it was a male and broadcasted in an attempt to identify this male.
Right, which obviously caused some of the delay, correct? Because for a couple of years, everybody thought it was a man's body that had been found.
Yes, it is possible. It could have caused, that's probably, they're looking for a male, not a female.
And then in 2003, after the arrest of Carl Patton, the inquiry turns to the dental records of Melissa Wolfenbarger, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. So there's been a 4-year delay then between when the skull was found, the body parts were found, and the dental records eventually determined that it was Melissa Wolfenbarger's skull at any rate, correct?
Sir, that's correct.
All right. And from your report that Mrs. Patton, the mother, Norma Patton, didn't report her as being missing to any of the law enforcement agencies, Henry County, Fayette County, Fulton County, until a year after 1999, meaning in 2000.
Well, that's not how I understood it in speaking with her. If I can explain.
If I asked it, I would ask you to explain, of course.
It is my understanding that, yes, she had some initial reservations. She took time, but then at some point she became concerned because it was not normal for Melissa to speak with Melissa on the holidays. And this December, I believe, Thanksgiving of 1998, she spoke to her. Yeah. But now holidays are rolling around and something's not right. And she tried.
Let me ask you to remember my question. I don't mind you doing a narrative, but my question was she didn't report to law enforcement until the year 2000.
That is correct. But the way I'm understanding you're saying that she chose not to, or she didn't care.
I didn't say either one of those things in my question. I just said from 1998 until early 2000, she didn't report to law enforcement.
She was unable to report it.
Okay.
Now, that's interesting because Norma Patton said she tried to report it. Not that she had some reservations, so she waited, but then the concerns became too grave that she decided to go say something.
You answered a lot of these questions to Mr. Wilson, so I'll go fairly quickly here. During your investigation, after 2003, because now we know who the remains belong to,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
you obtained paint chips because you thought that that kind of evidence would be important, correct?
Yes,
Okay. You used luminol throughout the house in order to detect the presence of any blood in the house,
Yes.
even though it's a couple years later at this point, correct?
yes,
In fact, the luminol did designate one place, and it turned out to be an animal's blood or something like that, a dog's blood, correct?
I'm not sure, I'm not familiar what you're.
It wasn't human blood at any rate, correct?
No, the luminol reacted to something, but I don't know that they ever determined that it belonged to an animal. This, as I said, luminol will react to many things. I don't recall it saying that it reacted to blood at all.
Okay. There was something it reacted to,
Yes,
but it
that's-
ended up not being helpful to the
That's correct,
investigation.
yes.
Okay. So you got paint chips, you got fibers, right?
Yes,
That looked like they were from a bath mat or something like that, correct? You got hair, which you said, and we're going to come back to that in a second, that you got from Mr. Wolfenbarger, correct? And you sent that to the crime lab to compare with hair found in the black bags, correct? There was no match, correct?
there was no match.
You then even got a search warrant to get pubic hair from Mr. Wolfenbarger because there was pubic hair in one of the black bags, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that didn't match.
That is correct.
Okay. So the paint chips don't match, the luminol doesn't turn up anything, the fibers don't match, the pubic hair doesn't match, the hair coming from Mr. Wolfenbarger's head and the hair in the back, nothing matches, correct?
Are you speaking with respect to Mr. Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
Yes, and again, being careful to note what's in the crime lab reports, the hair samples did not, while they were similar to Ms. Wolfenbarger's, they were dissimilar to your client's.
Right.
So they're probably hers. Yes. The crime lab, and to be clear, because I don't want to make this something, we're saying that nothing matches, but while we were doing the testing that we were doing. The hairs were dissimilar to Chris's, but they were similar to Melissa's Wolfenbarger's,
I understand.
probably her hair. They noted that, well, the pubic hair that they found, we didn't have a sample, so we had to go get a sample from Mr. Wolfenbarger.
Right. That didn't match anything.
Yes, but it noted, again, in the crime lab, it noted that while they were dissimilar, that circumstances change over time. So it's not, I mean, you're saying it's match, but
Every one of these tests, you could explain away if you want. You can say there was, too many years had gone by, but none of it ever showed that he was
yes,
responsible.
but I think it's important to note just what you said, sir. It's not just simply didn't match. There are circumstances.
Okay.
And keep.
Did you ever get hair from anybody else?
No, sir.
Did you ever get pubic hairs from anybody else?
No, sir. Can I explain why?
No. Did you ever get DNA from anybody else?
I think he can explain. I think ask him a question.
It was a simple question. Did you anybody else?
There are circumstances.
Okay.
And keep.
Did you ever get hair from anybody else?
No, sir.
Did you ever get pubic hairs from anybody else?
No, sir. Can I explain why?
No. Did you ever get DNA from anybody else?
I do think he can explain. I think ask him a question.
It was a simple question. Did you or didn't you? I'm sorry,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Sam,
I'm sorry.
Hang on just a moment. If you'd like to inquire with your witness on redirect, you can do that, but he was asked a yes or no question, and I think it's fair for him to say he wants a yes or no answer. Go ahead.
No, sir, I'm sorry, sir. Say that again.
You never collected hair from anybody else? You never collected pubic hair from anybody else? You never collected DNA from anybody else either, did you?
That is correct.
Did you ever take cadaver dogs to the house?
We never took cadaver dogs to the house, and
Did anybody that you were working with take cadaver dogs to the house?
well, see, sir, it's not a yes or no answer the way
Okay.
you're asking the
All right.
questions,
Go
because
ahead.
you know where this is going.
Huh?
You know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going. I just asked you, did you take
Yeah, I'd like
cadaver?
to be able to explain my answer. I'll give you my answer and explain it. We meaning the City of Atlanta Police Department never took cadaver dogs to the crime scene to look for any remains or anything, but cadaver dogs were taken to those locations, but not by the police department
Okay.
or our agency.
Okay, we've already heard testimony that there were cadaver dogs out where the bags were. I asked at the house.
That is what I'm talking about, sir. We
Okay.
never took any,
Okay,
but cadaver dogs were taken to the house.
and they found nothing, correct?
That's not, no, sir, they were not able to search.
Okay,
May I explain it?
please.
At some point, as this whole investigation goes on, there was other agencies that were working with us, as I should say it, another agency took it upon themselves because they received some information about this particular murder and everything, and they came to the 824 Brookline Street with the intent to do cadaver dogs, to process the crime scene, and may I speak more specifically to the agency? I don't know if that's okay.
I have no idea where you're going, so I don't, what agency?
This was the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
What county?
Fayette County Sheriff's Office with Major Bruce Jordan. They were the lead investigators in the Carl Patton case. Well, again, they worked in conjunction and speaking with Carl Patton, started doing things on their own volition. Came to the City of Atlanta with cadaver dogs with the intent to find evidence of Melissa's murder there.
You think that was responsive to my question?
Argumentative.
Was it, sir? I mean, you wanted
asked
to know
you,
if we ever had cadaver dogs at the scene, and I told you, yes, we did. Not the City of Atlanta, but cadaver dogs were taken to the scene.
And found nothing, correct?
They found, no, I didn't say they didn't find anything. They were not allowed to search. You can't just,
Who
you
owns-
just can't go to a crime scene, knock on a door. We have evidence that a crime occurred here and we're going to search your house and do this, that, and the other.
Who was living there then?
What?
Who was living?
There was a residence that was living there. It was no one related to the Wolfenbargers. There was a renter. Major Jordan and his team came there with cadaver dogs to search the house. Asked for permission. I don't know if this is okay, and I'm speaking to reference to the person that was there. They called the Atlanta police. There are people here wanting to search our house. We went out there, in particular, homicide went out there. Well, what are you trying to do? Well, we got information that this, and this is occurred. We're going to search the house. No, sir, we can't do that. We don't know this. We don't have any warrants. We don't know this. So yes, cadaver dogs were at the scene, did not search the scene.
Okay.
Because they were not allowed to. They didn't have search warrants or anything.
Okay. So this was an argument to some extent between Atlanta and Fayette County law
No,
enforcement.
this was not an argument.
Had nothing to do with Mr. Wolfenbarger.
No, it was not it's not an argument between Atlanta Police Department. There was an agency that came to Atlanta with the intent to do something, and this is a homicide investigation. You can't do it like this. It had nothing to do with an argument. You cannot do this.
Okay. Now, you interviewed
The
a
stare.
woman who identified herself to you as Dorothy Jones, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, we
Okay.
got
Well,
Dorothy.
And her name was also Dorothy Cooley, is that right? Did you write in your notes that she told you her name was Dorothy Jones?
I don't know if, 20-some years, I'm not sure if I just thinking Jones type Cooley, or I'm not sure. I don't have my notes. Could have been Cooley Jones. I'm not familiar, sir.
You want to see your report?
I have it right here.
It says Dorothy Jones.
Yes,
correct?
but then in the narrative, it also says Dorothy Cooley.
Okay.
So again, what I'm expressing to you is, I don't know, could have been Cooley Jones. I don't know, but I corrected it in the narrative.
Okay. When you interviewed Mr. Wolfenbarger, you were in Gwinnett County at the time, he said that the last time he saw her was walking down Brookline Street, correct?
No, not Brookline. Not at the house location, but near the MARTA station.
Right.
The MARTA station runs right there on Murphy Avenue.
Okay. And this was sometime he told you in March or April of 1990 9. Correct? That's what he told you.
No, yes, when I interviewed him in Gwinnett County, he said, it's based on what I'm understanding his memory, it would have been about March or April of 1999. That is
Right,
correct.
which was at the time you interviewed him about 4 years earlier, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And he said that he picked her up, they talked for a while, they went to Taco Bell to eat?
yes, sir.
And then he brought her to the MARTA station, correct? And she got on a train and left. That's what he told you
Yes.
happened. Okay. And so that's either sometime in March or sometime in April. The skull is found the last day of April, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to ask you a little bit about your interview of Mr. Dixon. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember talking to him about whether Miss Wolfenbarger was pregnant?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you remember him, this is Mr. Dixon, who was here
Yes, sir.
before you, saying he could have been the father?
Yes.
That's what he told you, right?
Yes, he said it was possible that he could have been the father, yes.
Right. And that he had talked to her about that.
I don't know if,
He had talked to Melissa about that.
well, I'm assuming there was some type of conversation if they're talking pregnancies and who's the father, that
Right,
there was a discussion about it.
right. And in your report, what you wrote was, when questioned by me as to if he knew if she was pregnant, Mr. Dixon too indicates that it was possible and that it could be that he was the father.
That is correct.
Okay. And he also told you that she stayed with him several occasions at the Shallowford Lodge, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did he tell you that they also were having their intimate relations on the rooftop of the Waffle House? You remember him telling you that? And
I don't remember him
Your Honor,
telling me that. I don't.
I object to that. That is argumentative, and
not argumentative, I asked him a question, and
Is it,
it's not relevant.
well, it's inconsistent with the testimony.
It's
if it's,
hearsay.
what is, hang on.
Panic,
Are you
panic.
referring to a report in asking that question,
It's
Mr.
a
Samuel?
taped interview that the witness did with Mr. Dixon.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Did he tell you about that? That they were going up on the roof of the Waffle House, they had wine up there?
I don't recall him getting into the specifics of the relationship, sir. I mean, it's possible I don't remember.
You did take the conversation though, correct?
That's correct.
I think this trial is great. I think it's an awful trial and an awful case, but the trial is great.
Not finding it, sorry.
Page 12. Whisper, whisper. No, they're gonna do the transcript. I would love to see it, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Page 12. Loudest whisper. I think this is one of the biggest switch-ups of a witness so far in this trial.
I think you did. I'm just looking at I just went back a page to see what, because on the previous pages where they started talking about their relationships. Well, yeah, when he was talking about their relationship, yes, sir. Okay, yes.
Am I correct?
Well, is it okay to read the answer?
To yourself.
Oh, okay.
That
To myself,
document's
yes.
not in evidence, though,
Okay,
so.
thank you. It's not during the 3-day period, yes or no. The first time was when we worked down at 500.
In the mic. He's reading it to himself into the microphone. Oh, man. Why is this trial like this?
All right, and then the question again.
My question was, Mr. Dixon. The whole day went by.
It's going to happen sooner or later.
Was having intimate relations
He was having an intimate relationship with her.
with her,
Yes.
including on the roof of the Waffle House.
Well, it says that they drank outside and then they went on the roof. I didn't delve into it any further, so.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you. What is your understanding was the reason for the initial delay in investigation from the discovery to when you got started?
It was just that they were having problems identifying who these remains belong to.
And do you know whether, well, the Christopher Wolfenbarger, there was a renter in the house
Waffle?
at that house.
Did he say
824
Waffleburger?
For Wolfenbarger, there was a renter in the house at that house at 824 Brookline.
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know whether or not there was any remodeling done to that house?
Yes, as we went into the house and you're looking around, and it's very obvious to anyone that things have been changed. These are older houses, and you knew that by looking at them, they had been recently updated, new appliances and fixtures and things of that nature. In particular, the bathroom.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't seem like a question's being asked. Or maybe it's a very long question.
Do you have any understanding of what Norma tried to do after the reporting of Melissa being gone?
What she tried to do after didn't see her daughter anymore. She tried to make, and the answer to my question is yes.
Hang on 1 second. I think he said the answer was yes
Yes.
to, do you know? I got a little distracted when I heard Mr. Samuel's objection. So far, I haven't heard any hearsay. His answer was yes.